gonna dip in your hip and glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Hey, Dale, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, bro. Dude, look, man. I was just telling somebody just earlier today, I was like, man, I'm so excited to be on this podcast tonight. You know what I mean? Like, I love doing it, man. I know you were on mine over the weekend, and that was a lot of fun, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
excited here.
So I've really been looking forward to it. And the otter in the cemetery is dope,
you like
man.
That?
Yeah, man. I started cracking up when I saw that.
A good friend of mine, Laura, made that video for me. I love it. It's cool. It's perfect. So, welcome everybody to the Otter's Den. Please share out. Sharing is caring. More people we get in here, the more people we get to help. Hey, Linda, how you doing? I think I saw you on another show just previously. Okay, I'd like to introduce you to my guest. This is Dale Valor. He is an author and a male dating coach. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If we're gonna encapsulate it, yes. That's
there we go. The name of your book is Inner Game. Before we get too far, let's explain where you got that title, because I like that. I read about it. But I'd like you to explain that to our viewers, because I like that title.
All right. Well, first of all, hello, Linda. She just said hi. So I figured it would be rude if I didn't address the chat. Yeah. So inner game has been an expression that's it's been around forever. You know, like when I was doing research for my book, you know, me and my staff, we were kind of trying to like, okay, what would be the best name? What can we call it? You know, it's going to be about inner game, but what can we call it? You know, and things like that. And so, you know, it's like, well, why don't we just call it inner game? You know, like, and so when I was looking around online to see if maybe there's a title already out there, you know, with that name or whatever, there was titles, but it was like inner game specific for different things, like inner game of golf, inner game of tennis, inner game of X, Y, and Z, you know? And so I think in the way I like to define it is like this. Inner game really is, when we're talking about through the prism of dating and relationships and things like that, you know, to me, I define it as the relationship that you have with yourself. Okay. You know, so I mean, the name of the book, you know, or at least the tagline with it, you know, Inner Game, how to fix your dating life by fixing the relationship you have with you.
Like that. I like
Yeah, man. Because I mean, like, think about it, man. Think about it like this. What's the common denominator of every date you've ever been on, every relationship that you've ever had? What is the common denominator?
me.
Exactly. So if the relationship with you sucks because whatever reason you're hanging on to a bunch of limiting beliefs, or you just don't think that you can, or you suffer from self-sabotage or low confidence or low
Yeah.
self-esteem, and you just like, man, I suck, you know how can you expect any of the other relationships in your life to be fruitful? And I mean, even more so than just the dating context. Obviously, my by doing what I do as a dating coach, it's going to be in that
Yeah.
frame. But at the end of the day, like, if you don't have good self-esteem, you don't have good self-confidence, you're not self-disciplined, you don't know how to set boundaries, that's going to
Everything.
affect your friends, your family,
Yeah.
professionally, like, there's so many layers to it. So it's like, look, if something needs to be worked on, and I know because I see how active you are on Facebook, so I know that you've had to seen different, either content put out there, or just people posting around or whatever, and it's always the blame
Oh,
game. It's one of two things. It's either the blame game or the
yeah. Poor
victimhood
me.
game,
Poor me.
right?
Look at me. Look at me. Poor me. I'm a victim. Okay. How do you not become a victim?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
work on your
exactly,
self-esteem. You work
exactly.
on your inner game. That's how you become a not victim.
Right. Just not even, I don't know, man, maybe an hour and a half ago, somebody posted in of one of the Modern Success
Yeah.
Facebook groups. Apparently, now he had screenshotted this text conversation that he was having with this girl, and he met this girl yesterday. They had made plans to hang out Wednesday,
Yeah.
right? And she sent him some texts and was kind of like, listen, I don't want you to have any type of false, pretenses about what this is. Like, I'm not coming over to, like, get with you. I'm coming over there to hang out with you, as
Yeah.
friends, right? And he got all salty, he got all bitter. It was just like, oh, well, women just want the bad boy, and then like victimhood, right? Then you have the other mentality that's like, oh, well, and by the way, this is a two-way street, right? This is men and
Yeah.
women both. So, all women suck, all men suck. Like, it can't be anything that I'm doing, it's everybody else. And it's like, come on, man, you gotta know, you have to know that you, in large part it's you're just deflecting it because you don't want to take personal responsibility for yourself, your own actions, your own mindsets. So, dude, like, again, I asked the question again. Look, if the relationship with you suffers, so will all your other
Absolutely.
relationships. If you don't like you, how can you expect anybody else to like you?
Right. We were just talking about that the other night on one of these
Yeah.
podcasts or one of my lives or something. I don't remember from I don't. I got the Dane Bramage and I don't remember stuff too good. So
I'm right there
yeah.
with you, man. What's your name again? No, I'm playing.
Hang on, let me look. Oh man, I lost my whatever has my name on it.
But yeah, man, like, I just see it way too often where people just like,
Yeah.
the whole, well, just accept me as I am. All right. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, people should accept you for who you are. Okay. And you should be authentic and be who you are. Right.
So many
But
people wear a mask to portray themselves
yeah,
as somebody they are not in order to attract somebody, get something they want. And then as soon as they get what they want, boom, that mask comes off. And that other person is shocked to see who they're staring.
yeah, no doubt. But the other issue with that though too is that, it's almost kind of like a pendulum thing. You have some people who wear the mask and they do it because they're like, they don't feel good about who they actually are, so they have to present themselves in a different light, right? You have that. Then the other extreme is, like, well, I don't wear a mask, so that gives me a license to just be an asshole to people and just to be insufferable.
This is just me.
Right? Like, oh, that's just me being me. Like, come on, man. Like that isn't going to help you either. Right. Too much extremism.
Yeah, absolutely. You can be who you want to be, but you also have to put up with the consequences of your actions. If you're an asshole to everybody, guess what they're going to be to you.
Right, no doubt. A lot of times it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And like, you just walk up and just start talking foul to somebody, don't be surprised if you get socked in the mouth.
Not wrong, man. Not wrong at all.
So yeah, man, like, what this all comes back to in my mind is most people don't really know who they are at the core.
I didn't.
They have some idea about it. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, if you're funny guy, right? Like, you got a great sense of humor and you can just, keep the room in stitches. You're that kind of guy. Well, that's only one facet of who you are, because you're not funny guy 24 hours a day. I promise.
I think the Chinese say we wear 3 masks in our life. And I'm going to try to remember these. The one where we portray ourselves to other people, the one where we portray ourselves to our workplace, and the one where we portray ourselves to ourselves.
That's Japanese.
Okay, I'm close.
Yeah,
it was Chinese.
Yeah, close enough. Not too far off. It's like Canadian to American, I guess.
No, it's close.
Right, exactly. But people don't know who they really are. They, like I said, they have an idea about it. But like here's the thing, man. You walk up to somebody and you ask them, like, who are you? The first thing they're going to tell you is their name.
Yeah.
Right. And then I get it, that culturally and socially, yeah, okay, I understand that, but that's not really who you are. All that, like, you being Keith, all that is a sound that comes out of people's mouths, so as that that you're being addressed. That's really all it is. Like, if say for instance, we dropped you off in some crazy tribal island, right? And they can't speak a lick of English. And they can't even pronounce the word Keith. So they call you Ooga Booga, okay? Because they don't know what else to call you. Does that mean that you are a different person because they're addressing you differently?
Not at all.
And so when I push people on this a little bit, the next thing that I'll generally get is what it is that they do for work. Okay. Nah, man, that's just what you trade time for money for. Like, it could be a little bit closer. Like, if you're working a job that you're passionate about, that you love, and, really resonates with you, okay, it's a little closer, but it's still not exactly it. Because here's the thing. What if you had a auto mechanic, right? And this, okay, there you go. And this guy loves working on cars. Loves working on cars. What would happen if, God forbid, the lift broke and the car came crashing down on you, and you're, a paraplegic or a quadriplegic? You can't use your arms anymore, right? Does that mean you cease to exist?
No, absolutely not.
No, it just means you can't do the job that you liked doing. That's really what it means.
Physically, you might be able to still do it mentally by coaching someone else how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, exactly. Then the next thing that they're going to tell me is, and I do see some of the questions in here. I don't know. It's your show, man. I don't know how you kind of.
We love including the audience. We love answering their questions. So if you don't mind, I'll throw one up real quick.
Yeah, let me just finish my thought real quick, and then let's jump into that. So, yeah, man. So the next thing is they're going to start listing off their hobbies, things that they like to do, and that's even a little bit closer, but that's not exactly it either. Okay, because again, what if you like to play basketball and you can't play basketball anymore? Like, okay, does that mean you're just catapulted into another dimension or something? You just poof, you're just gone.
No, your mindset gets
you know what
changed because you can't do that
so
anymore. So you have to relearn and you have to heal from that aspect.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But at the end of the day, what it really comes down to when we're talking about, who you are at the core and knowing that, so you don't have to wear a mask or anything like that, and you can start understanding your value and as to who you are as a person and start expressing that and being proud of these things. It boils down to a few things. You got nature, right? If your parents are raging alcoholics, and you got a long line of raging alcoholics, if you're not watching yourself, you're likely to be the next, right? It's not a prophecy. It's not, predestined that you're going to be an alcoholic, but you are predisposed to it.
Absolutely.
So, it just would be something you have to keep an eye on. Conversely, if your parents have really good genes and are athletic and everything, you probably will be too, So there's that. Then you have nurture, right? You got 2 puppies. One puppy's raised by a family that loves it and takes care of it. Another puppy is raised by somebody who could care less and doesn't treat it right. The first puppy A is probably going to be a good dog. Puppy B is probably going to grow up to be biting people and mad and angry all the time, right? So that is going to be fundamental and shape a lot of who we are by the way that we were raised, right? Also, environmentally, I put it like this, man. I grew up in Detroit. I'm in Detroit right now. I'm on the east side in my basement, okay? And this is where I grew up. This is home. Now, that has shaped a lot of things about me, right? Like the way I present myself, the way that I talk a lot of times, my taste in music and fashion and things like that. Man, had I grown up in northern Michigan where there ain't nothing, I probably would like a lot different stuff. I'm guessing. I'd probably be the guy that would go out hunting or go mudding in my truck.
Totally different person.
Things like that.
Not totally different, but have different aspects of yourself.
Right. Exactly. And then our experiences shape us too. If you've had a bunch of traumatic things that have happened to you, it's going to take its toll. If you've had a bunch of great things that's happened to you, it's going to play a hand in who you are and the way that you look at the world, right? And lastly, intrinsic value, which in my mind is the most important of all these things. It's the characteristics and qualities that we like about ourselves. Man, you could get a guy who's just like, I hate everything about myself. No, you don't. There's things about yourself that you do like, and those things are intrinsic qualities. And these are the things that we need to communicate to people. Like when somebody asks me, who are you? Man, I'm passionate, I'm driven, and I'm hardworking. Okay. And those are intrinsic qualities of mine that I like to express, And so, look, if you want to know what those intrinsic qualities are, I'll tell you in the audience. If you go to freegiftfromdale.com, there's 2 things on there. The first chapter of my book, Inner Game, that you can download just to see if it's for you, Then second to that, I have a video on there that gives a whole breakdown on how to know what your intrinsic values are. So that way, now you know what you bring to the table when it comes to dating and relationships. You know what you bring to the table when it comes to that job interview. You know what you bring to the table with friends and family and things like that, So you don't have to accept behavior and people's nonsense, the way that they're treating you poorly. You don't have to put up with it because it's like, man, look at all this I bring to the table. Why am I even... Man, I'm not here to suffer fools. Boundary. You know what I mean?
Boom. Set that
exactly. 100%, man. 100%.
Don't lift.
Yeah. So you got a question lined up there?
Yeah, good buddy of mine, Howie. He actually runs the RNN, the Recognition
Oh,
Network.
okay, cool.
Dale, do you not feel it all is also about self-respect and respect of others, this being the inner working? And we did
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. So look, a lot of people, I mean, it really ties into self-esteem, right? I would argue that self-respect and self-esteem are I wouldn't say they're exactly the same, but they're very closely related, right? So like it's like this. Think of it as you're talking to somebody else, okay? So here's you're talking to just whoever, and it could be a friend. We'll say it's a family member, okay? Now, you may like that family member. You may love that family member, but you might not respect that family member.
Yeah.
Right? Because of
their actions.
Just who knows why. But for whatever reason, you may not respect them. Right? So what is respect if we're really boiling it down to its core concept? What it is, respect is nothing more than abiding by somebody's boundaries. And if a person doesn't lay down any boundaries, then it's hard to respect that person. Now you get basic human respect, of course, but but it is difficult to respect somebody if they're just willing to put up with whatever. You know what I mean? And as to where self-esteem and self-respect, you can't have self-respect if you don't have self-esteem. Right. Okay. Because you got to like yourself.
You're not going to respect yourself if you don't like yourself.
Right. And then set boundaries for yourself that you respect. And what is that? That's self-discipline.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like if I got a boundary, like I write about this in my book, you should have non-negotiables in your life. At least one. At least. I would argue 2 or 3, but at least one non-negotiable.
Yeah.
A non-negotiable is exactly what it says. It's something that will not be negotiated. Like this is going to happen.
You are not lifting it.
Right. So like for me, going to the gym is a non-negotiable for me. Like it's going to happen. Okay. Come hell or high water. Now, like common sense comes into play. If my house is burning down, I'm not like, nope, non-negotiable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
This will just have to wait till I get back from the gym. But 99.999% of the time, there's no crazy emergency going on. But I don't care. I don't care if I lose out on a potential client, student, joining my program or anything like that. Like, yes, do I want that person to join? But if it's contingent upon me sacrificing myself going to the gym, I'll go to the gym. Because it's a non-negotiable. It's going to happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that's what I mean by like having those boundaries for yourself. Just certain things that's like, this is what I do. Like let's put it in a dating context to a degree. So, say for instance, Keith, say every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. you and the fellas get together and you play poker. Okay. There's a half dozen of you. You sit up, you play poker for a few hours, and that's your time to hang out with your friends. Have a good time. Bond and all that kind of thing.
Do the guy
thing. Right. Now, say you start talking to some girl, and and she's like, well, really the only day that I have available to go out is Tuesday evenings. You know what? Well, then you're not the girl for me. It would be my advice. You know what I mean? Because that's the night that I go play poker with the homies. You know what I mean? That's when I do it. So I'm busy Tuesday. But so often guys are willing to throw out anything that's really important to them just to get a scrap of attention.
They drop everything. My big thing is self-time. I need time with myself in order to recharge from dealing with the public, dealing with clients, and whatnot. I need time to recharge from that because it can be very draining. Scorpio, we need a little bit more of that. So, and that is something that my future partner will need to understand. It's not because I don't want to be with that person. I just need a little bit of time. And I'm going to go out in the garage for a little while. I'm going to fiddle far around. I'll be back in after a bit.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they deserve the same thing. Just to say that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, even like the way I would think about a situation like that would be, you know how like people who are, they've been in a submarine for a long time, they need that decompression chamber before they can like kind of come out of it. You know what I'm saying? Right. Now, it's not that they don't want to come out. You know what I mean? Like they do. They've been in a submarine for 3 months. Of course they want to come out, but it will kill them.
You gotta be patient.
So, right. So they got to go in the decompression chamber. I mean, I don't know how long that takes or whatever, but even if it's 5 minutes, like, hey, this has to happen. In order for me to be all right, this has to happen.
Yeah.
That's the way I would look at that. Like that's your psyche decompression chamber.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Joni has a question here. Why are creepy people on online dating apps? Because they can.
Because they don't leave their house.
They're in their mom's basement on the computer, pretending to be somebody that they are not, trying to catfish other people.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, let's define creepy. Okay. Like everybody kind of has their own like definition of what that means. Although we all know it when we see it.
To one person, a creepy person might not be creepy to another person.
True.
Because that person's creepy too. Yep. I don't know, but
100%. So, but the way that I would define creepy is a person that makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yes, that's okay. A good definition.
So a person may not outwardly look creepy, right? You know what I'm saying? Like okay, here's a good example. Like James Bond, okay, stereotypical, supposed to be super suave dude and things like that, But like what if, James Bond looking like James Bond, dressed like James Bond, you're going to look at James Bond and be like, okay, that's not a creepy guy. That's a pretty suave dude, right? But what if he just said the most backwards, wayward stuff ever? You know what I mean? He walks up to some woman and he just like says something super sexually explicit and burps in her face and what you know what I mean? Like,
excuse me, I'd like to lick your toes. Something like that. That would be a little creepy. To me, that would be a little creepy. Just saying.
Yeah, just a tad. But there's a term that I talk about in my book quite a bit called calibration. All right. Now, calibration really is calibrating. It's basically taking a temperature of the situation and the environment and adjusting accordingly. Okay. So like, for instance, I would be uncalibrated if I went to we'll just say I went to a punk rock concert and I was dressed like an Amish guy. It would be weird. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like people would be like, it's kind of creepy. You know what I mean? It's kind of strange, but it would be uncalibrated, right? I want to, at least look like I should be there. You know what I mean? And so calibration, when somebody is uncalibrated in a situation, that's oftentimes where they get dubbed as being creepy because their social awareness is stunted for some reason, and it turns people off and makes them think that they're weird because they're acting weird.
Somebody that acts differently than you, even though to them and their crowd, they might not be creepy. To us, where we are within our clique, to us, they're creepy. To them, maybe we're creepy. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, of course, you're not gonna like resonate with every single person. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just impossible. But at least at a bare minimum, you should be looking to be calibrated to any situation that you find
Yeah,
yourself
I
in.
agree with that.
So is that you're not looking A, creepy, B, some type of oddball that doesn't, has no business being there whatsoever. You know what
You
I mean?
don't want to
Like,
look like an axe-wielding homicidal maniac walking into a wedding.
well, not.
Dude, we're in each other's head, man. That's cool. I actually have a question.
Yeah.
I have often said, just joking around, that I am somebody's unicorn. And then I'm going through your book list, your table of contents here, and in section 4, boundaries, you have a chapter
Mhm.
4, chapter 4. That's one of my numbers. Let's go
Okay.
unicorn hunting. What is your definition of a unicorn, and how do you hunt one?
Well, the thing is that a lot of times, people, man, they don't really know what they want. Okay, they think they do. Kind of goes back to like what I was talking about with knowing who you are. Okay, man, I say this all the time, man. Somebody who knows who they are and what they want, that's a dangerous person. Unfortunately, most people don't
Yeah.
know either. Okay, so here's the deal. When we're talking about a unicorn, do you even know outside of, I mean, of course, we all know what a unicorn is,
Right.
you know what I mean? But like, if you saw the type of unicorn that you wanted, would you even know? Like, maybe you actually want a Pegasus and you're just thinking it's
Yeah.
a unicorn. Maybe it has to have magical powers and no unicorns do. You know what I mean? Like, so what I'm driving at here is instead of thinking about it as like a needle in a haystack for what
Yeah.
you want in a relationship, get detailed on the type of person that you want to be with. Okay. So, I have my guys that I work with do an exercise where it's very detailed and very intentional. Okay. And what we're talking about is, making an avatar of the type of woman that you want in your life. Okay. So, and
Quality.
when I say detail, I mean detail. Let me give a little
Sure.
context to this. So, for many years, I did real estate. All right. And as a real estate agent, I would be working with buyers. And one thing that used to drive me up a wall was when I would ask somebody, we'll just say they had a $250,000
Okay.
pre-approval. Okay. So I would ask them, inside the confines of what they could afford, what is it they want in a house, right? And what they're going to tell me is, well, Dale, I want to be within 15 minutes of commute for work. I need at least 3 bedrooms. House has to be at least 1,500 square feet. At least a bath and a half. A basement and a garage. Awesome. Every house on planet Earth. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Here's 1,000 listings. Tell me which ones
Yeah.
you want to see. You know what I mean? And so what's happening is I'm working with that person every Saturday and Sunday, driving around, looking at all these houses, doing a process of
Yeah.
elimination, as opposed to being dialed into what they actually want. So what I would have them do is I'd say, because this, I'm like, man, I could be working with other people. It's eating up all my time, So what I would have them do is close their eyes and, give me a tour of their dream home inside of their budget. Okay. And I'm just writing down everything they tell me. Now, instead of giving them 500 listings, I'm giving them 5, 3 of which they want to go see, 2 of which they like, 1 of which we put an offer
There you
in
go.
on. And so, bam, got that wrapped up in an afternoon instead of the next 6 months.
Perfect. Yeah.
So, I'm like, use all your senses maybe not taste, but outside of that, like use all your senses and explain to me, what does this house smell like? What is the neighborhood like? Can you hear kids playing? Is there a lot of activity? What is the house? What's the word I'm looking for here? Aesthetically, like what are you seeing? All these things. So I have my guys that I work with do that exact same thing for a woman. What does she what does she look like in detail? What is what does she like to do? What kind of type of activities does she like? What type of personality does she have? Does she have a good relationship with her family? Like taking so much into consideration, right? And now what we kind of have is a unicorn, right? Because it's like
creature that you can never find, but never say never.
Right. You've identified what this perfect woman is for you, but but that woman isn't everywhere, right? So what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to go to where that type of girl that you just thought of, where does she live? I mean, not literally. That's creepy. Being in the bushes looking at the binoculars.
Don't be creeping.
Right. Exactly. But where do women like that congregate? Like I had a guy, man, a student that I was working with, and he asked me one time, he was one of these guys that were kind of like these victim type of dudes, So what he was talking about was, he's like, man, all women are bitches and I can't find any good women and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, cool, man. Where are you going? Where are you meeting women? He's like, oh, well, every Friday and Saturday night, I go to the bar, I go to the club. And by the way, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong about going to the bar or going to the club. Okay. There's nothing inherently wrong there. But, you're also going to, in large part, find a lot of women who probably doesn't resonate with you. You know what I mean? So, in particularly, if you're a guy like him that's like looking to find a wife, okay. So, I'm like, okay. I'm like, do you even like going to the bar and going to the club? He's like, no, I hate it. And I'm like, okay, think about it like this: if I'm trying to buy a Ferrari, I'm like, Keith, man, I'm excited, bro. I've been stacking up this money, and I got enough, man. I can go get a Ferrari today. Like I'm gonna get the dopest Ferrari ever, bro. And a week goes by and you hit me up and you're like, Dale, did you get that Ferrari? I'm like, man, I've been looking for that Ferrari.
We've been looking at the Ford dealership, at the Chevy dealership.
Exactly. That's exactly where I'm going with that. Yeah, man, I've went to every Ford dealership around here, man, and I can't find a Ferrari for nothing. You'd be like, Dale, you idiot. Why don't you go to the Ferrari dealership? Oh, that's a great idea, right? Because that's where that car is going to be.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here. Like I told that guy, I'm like, what do you like to do? And he's like, man, I've really been getting into yoga lately. And I'm like, okay, cool. Dope. I'm like, you ever talk to any of the women at the yoga studio? He's like, no, never. And I'm like, why? He's like, well, because they're not at the club. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, dude, I'm like, no, man, you're missing the boat. Like, you already have something in common already.
Just like Tammy Johnson saying here, kind of like if I dated and one guy that puts God first, even before her, she should keep her eyes open at a church. Not wrong. I would require somebody spiritual, maybe gifted like I do, likes to help people like I do. Maybe into the paranormal like I am. I've kind of got my list. I've kind of done that already. Mm-hmm. And I am heading to Scarefest in a couple days. And there will be 15, 20, 30,000 people going through there.
Wow. This is your time of
year. That's pretty good opportunity, just saying. And Joni Templeton Skinner, she's my other co-host that we do the Otter's Den on. The astrology that's hitting right now for me is amazing. So I'm crossing my fingers. Okay. I'm not, I know I'm going to meet somebody. I've been showed before when I went to Scarefest, and sure shit, I met that person, and we got to be very good friends. And Spirit showing me again, you're going to meet this person down there. Now that may be that person needs help. Maybe I need a lesson from that person, or maybe that person is my person. I don't know, but I'm not going to know unless I go.
Right.
If you don't go to a place like you said, where that person that you want is going to be, you're never going to meet him.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, somebody asked earlier, right? Why is there so many creepers, you know, on dating apps or however it was worded, you know? And, you know, that's the thing is that a lot of times, and of course, you know, I'm generalizing to a degree here, but a lot of times, man, guys that are on dating apps and things like that, I don't think women so much. I mean, I'm sure there's a percentage that are like this as well, but you know, but the thing is that a lot of those dudes that are on there and stuff like that, you know, they're so worried about like going out and actually conversing with people that they don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
I know,
man, dude, like
I don't like people. And I do not like to people. I do not like to people. And what I'm.
Oh, I thought you said I do not like people.
Well,
what?
That's one half a dozen of the other. I prefer my own little world here. You know, I'm safe here. I can control my atmosphere. I can control my environment. Maybe I need to work on my control issues a little bit, just saying. But this is my home. I'm safe. I like it here. Most time if I walk into the bar, there's people there that I do not want to conversate with. And what's the first thing that happens? They walk up to you and start a conversation. You know, hey, do you have this at Napa? I don't work in Napa anymore. What? Yeah. When that happened? Over a year and a half ago. You know, keep up. You know, I got you on Facebook. Keep up, you know. But how do I fix my car? I don't do that anymore. Or, you know, talk to me during business hours. You know, I'm here to enjoy myself. Now, if you want to talk spirituality and something serious and deep, all right, let's have a conversation. You want to talk fishing?
Yeah.
All right, I guess that's okay. You know?
And you know what? Here's the thing, man. What you're saying, there's nothing wrong with any of that, you know, because
my boundaries.
Here's what I would say. Like, if I'm working with somebody, right, and they're like, well, you know, I don't really go do anything. You know, I do my, you know, run my errands that I got to run, you know, grocery store and this, that. But, you know, I don't really go do anything, you know. Well, no, it's not you, because what you said a little bit ago is like Scarefest and, you know, and I would venture to say that you probably at least a few times a year probably go to some type of convention or go to. So you do go do things. You know what I mean? And there are things that are inside of your wheelhouse or inside of your world. Just like I was telling that guy, like, look, man, if you like yoga, you're at the yoga studio. Oh, I don't know. Maybe talk to people there.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
ladies wearing yoga
as
pants.
opposed to a place you
talk to the ladies wearing the yoga pants. Just saying.
Well, I mean, don't make it blatantly obvious that that's why you're talking to them, because they have yoga pants. But I'm not mad at you.
All right. Hey, man, it's 7:41. Just throwing that out because I know you got to hop off of here a little
Okay.
bit.
No, I'm keeping an eye. Yeah.
So why don't we use this time for you to promote yourself? Tell everybody where they can find you, where to get your book if they so choose, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, no doubt. So for those that don't know who really know who I am, you know, like, look, if you Google Dale Valor, endless list of things will come up. Okay. But here's all you really need to know. I struggled with dating and relationships to a large degree. Okay. And after I turned 30, I got a few things figured out, and it was a very long, hard process for me. I did not know how to communicate with people that well. I could talk about some things I knew something about, you know what I mean? But past that, you know, I'm like, let me take a big step back and hopefully the conversation circles around to something I know about, you know? But I did not know how to communicate with people. Like, if you would have told me that I'd be doing stuff like this, like 20 years ago, you're like, man, you done lost your mind.
Same.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, man. And so now it's so funny because I used to be like so scared to talk to people. Now I basically talk for a living, but but the thing is that I struggled with that, being able to walk up and talk to women or go on dates or have relationships or anything like that. Really hard process for me. And it took me a long time to get what I would consider good, and at the end of the day, now you have people like myself that can help people get that figured out way faster. Like you're learning from my years and years and years of bumping my head against the wall, and so it just truncates that process and time so much more quick, and so which is why I wanted to write Inner Game, because again, man, like guys that hire me, what they find out real fast, real quick, is it's not even about the girl, it's about them. Because look, if you're a man and you want to know what your insecurities are, if in case you don't know, you're about to pick up some if you go talk to women. Women are very, very in tune with being able to point out somebody's insecurities and what you need.
They got radar for that. Just saying. They got radar for that stuff. Just saying.
Right. And so there's a lot of work that we need to do, not for them, but for ourselves. Because we're around us all the time. And that's why I really wanted to write Inner Game, because if the relationship with you suffers, so will everything else. It all starts with you. And when we're starting with you, we're starting with your mindset, and that's really the crux of it. If your mindset is just like, oh, well, I got to be 6 feet tall and make 6 figures and have 6-pack abs like, no, you don't. Yeah, those things are great, sure, no doubt. But but all those things are great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that those things are wrong or anything like that, but it's not what it's about. So again, free gift from Dale.com. You can download my book the first chapter of my book, Inner Game. There, the intrinsic value exercise, is there too for you. Now, if you read that chapter and you're like, I like this, okay, cool. The link to Amazon and anywhere else is right all there too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, well, listen, Keith, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for having me on, bro. This was a ton of fun.
I loved it. Thank you for coming on. It's going to take me a while because I am not a reader, but I'm going to do some reading, just saying.
It's guys like you, which is why I'm working on the audio version right now. I've been recording it.
That would be perfect for me.
Yeah, it's going to be a while though, man. I'm about halfway done with the recording. Then it needs to be edited and all that. You know what I mean? It's going to be a minute. But it's coming. I'm working.
All right, that's awesome. All right, thank you, man. You go do your thing. Class,
thank you,
and we'll be in touch.
Sounds good, bro. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what did you think of Dale? He has got some energy. He's on fire. That man is on fire. But what he talked about is actually, as the hair raises up in my arms, a lot of things that I have talked about my past. He may be. I'm not sure. I should have asked him. Wait. Hang on. Maybe I can catch him. 747, 11:11. Imagine that. All right. We'll see if he reaches back out. But I've talked about this. I sat on that couch over there in a very deep depression for a long time. And this was 5 years ago. And I finally got up after listening to Shinedown, Get Up. I stood up and I went upstairs and I looked in the mirror. I'm like, why is this happening to you? And then I thought for a minute. Is it that it's happening to me? Am I doing some of this myself? And then I started a really deep dive into myself, who I had been, what I had done. And then I had to accept that. Not an easy thing to do. And then, after seeing it and accepting it, I had to pick it apart and understand it. And then after picking it apart and understanding it, I had to heal from it. And then when I healed from it, guess what I had to do? I had to forgive myself for it. I had to forgive some others too. Capricorn, Joni. He's a Capricorn. But if you really want to know yourself, pick your past apart. If you really want to know why you're not getting what you want, pick your past apart. Pick yourself apart. Yeah, Capricorn. Joey's like, what? I bet he's got some Leo in there somewhere. That's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to start liking yourself. That's how you're going to start changing, is working on yourself. People can talk to you till they are blue in the face, and if you don't want to change, you are not going to. Pick your battles. Set your boundaries. I had to give myself some boundaries. But I did. I had to give myself some boundaries. You will not do this any longer. That is non-negotiable. That will not happen. Number of things. They're my things. Amy Johnson, took me many years to forgive myself for things I wasn't happy that I didn't, or that I did, but I finally have, because, God wants us to. And let me tell you, my life changed for the better after I forgave myself. Yes, absolutely. That, all of that right there. All of that. What the F-ing about? What did I say? What? But it's okay to set a boundary with yourself. If you don't like your past behavior, set a boundary. No more. Yes, Joni, he's a Capricorn. I can screenshot it and send it to you if I need to. He's a Capricorn. But we would need to know the other two and then look at his chart in order to figure out where that Leo is. So again, since this was a show about dating, oh God, Joni. Right, Linda? I can see her right now. Her eyes are like this big. She's going. Man, that man is on fire. He has got energy coming out everywhere. Good guy there. And I squirreled. I squirrel a lot. And that's okay. That's okay. So again, I'm gonna have to find somebody that's okay with me squirreling all the time, you know? And that's all right. But he made some very valid points. And some of the chapters in his book, the names of these chapters, I mean, it just piques your interest. I'm John. Okay. What does that mean? You're going to have to look. You're going to have to read it. Hey, bro, there's a tiger in your house. Huh. Wonder what that means. Do Vikings have a midlife crisis? I mean, it just really, really piques your interests. Adventures in Leaving Chick-fil-A. What the hell is that about? You know, it's BDSM parties and going to the ballet. What the? You know the rest of that statement. Close calls with nuclear torpedoes and kicking bums out of the castles. I mean, I like this guy just by reading the names of his chapters. It's amazing. What is squirreling? Squirreling is when I'm talking about one subject and all of a sudden jump to another, and then I can't remember what I was talking about in the first place. I might start telling a story, tell 19 other mini stories before I can finally remember what I was originally talking about and get back to it. That is squirreling. And I do it a lot, don't I, Joni? All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you very much for popping on, watching, and sharing and everything. There we go. I had to find the videos. I'm going to hop off here. I got a couple things to do. I may go live a little bit. That's all, folks. Words. It's a thing. Go live a little bit later. I don't know yet. I will see if I can get his information. See if he wants a reading, a birth chart reading, and I will get back to you. But on that note, you all go enjoy your evening. I'm going to attempt to do the same. And don't forget to tune into the go like the RNN Facebook page. Give it a like, follow, share. We've got all kinds of different kinds of shows on there. The Otter's Den, Sunday Night R.I.F.T, Joni's show, Wednesday Howie's show, and I'm forgetting the names of all the. I need to make me a list. I'm gonna make me a list. There's a poetry show, Raven's Flock. She does readings and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so just go check out the page, RNN Network on Facebook, and you won't be disappointed. We are also on Spotify now, so you can listen to us on Spotify. You won't get to see our pretty faces, but if you're driving down the road, you can listen to us on Spotify. So on that note, ladies and gents, you all have a good evening. And me and Joni will see you this coming Monday.